Alright, this review is for the Canon XA10 professional high definition camcorder. Shoots in 1080p at 24, 30, I think it does, no it doesn't do 60, actually yes it does do 60, interlace though, it's not 1080p. But I'm going to show you some examples of the quality of this camera. I walked around the backyard and took some video, and a little bit in 60 frames, mostly in 24, but the quality of this camera is really good. It has a few downfalls. I'm not a huge fan of the touchscreen. It's just that it does seem to be capacitive. It's not resistive, but it's not as fluid as an iPad, an iPhone, whatever. It's a little sluggish, but for the most part it works perfectly fine. But that's not really a downfall for it as much. But a few other little downsides is maybe the zooming, the focus. The zoom isn't as far as I would like it to be. I think it's only a 10 times zoom, which isn't very far. And you'll see that it's brilliant. I mean, I don't know if you would consider it a DSLR quality, but that just, when you get into DSLRs now, it's starting to depend upon the lens you're using and all that. Right now I'm using a 18-135, yeah, 18-135 kit lens on a Canon 60D, but obviously I could outfit this thing with like a $2,000 lens, and there's no way this camera would be able to compete. But as far as from what I've seen for camcorders, I mean, it's brilliant. This is about a $2,000 camera. We got it for a little less than that. We got two of them for live streaming. As you can see, it has two XLR inputs on the side, two channel. On this side, you can adjust channel 1, channel 2, you can add phantom power, you can adjust the overall gain for each channel. Really nice. It has a mic jack right there to plug an external in. We record some announcements with this camera, and we have a Rode Video Mic Pro. I'll do a review on that a little later at some other time, but we get excellent quality out of that. We just run it right into there and it works perfect. On the side here, it has your headphone jack, and it has your AV out. It has black and white, and then it has dual SD card slots, A and B. You can actually record your video directly to both of those at the same time, or you can record to one, and when it fills up, go to the second one. Overall, I mean, I'm really impressed. It does feel pretty simple whenever you start looking at the big boy Canon cameras and the other brands, whatever. I mean, this is, I guess, you get what you pay for when it comes to $2,000 compared to $8,000 to $10,000 and up. It's not a Red Epic camera or anything like that, but it is, I mean, for what we're doing, it's a brilliant camera. I mean, it's very professional. I mean, I don't see how anyone could, with the naked eye, look and notice that it's not a professional camera. It's brilliant. The focus ring, I actually prefer to use the manual focus. You can actually choose to tap the screen to focus, or you can use the manual focus ring here, and you can actually adjust how quickly it goes into focus and out of focus. But I want to use this because the autofocus, I guess if you're using a tripod, it's a little different when you have to tap the screen. Whenever you're looking at whatever your subject is, you just tap where you want it to focus, and it'll focus there. But if you're not using a tripod, what's the camera going to do? It's going to kind of wobble a little bit whenever you touch it. And if you're using a tripod, that's not a huge deal, I guess. But I just prefer to use the focus ring. It works really well. You get really close to something, you know to turn to the right, back up, turn to the left. A little indicator comes up telling you how close this whatever you're focusing on is. If it's like right in front of you, if it's 30 feet away, whatever. This little button right here is for whenever you're zoomed in pretty far, you just hold that button in, and it helps you stabilize so your shot's not as jittery. I mean, I don't notice it working extremely well, but it does work pretty decently. As you'll see, I'll probably throw in some footage here. I was zooming in on a cat, and I had the digital zoom turned on. I think I had the digital zoom at 200 times put on. And you cannot autofocus when you're that zoomed in. If you're ever needing to use that kind of zoom for some reason, you know, why are you buying this camera? You should get some other camera that has that kind of massive zoom. maybe it would work better if you had it on a tripod, but I was struggling, especially when you're zoomed in that far, not on a tripod. It's extremely hard to stay steady and focus and all that at the same time. As you can see here, this thing kind of goes in and out. I just prefer the LCD screen. It's much bigger. The sight that you see inside of here looks exactly like what you see here. It's just obviously smaller, but for me, I just like to use the big screen there. Give you a real-time view of what you're looking at, kind of in a, what is that, 3-inch screen, 3.5-inch screen size. Love the handle. The handle's great. It comes separated, and you just have to put it on. You put these 2 screws on, and then you slide it in that shoe mount right there, and then screw it in. And you got a shoe mount on the top. I have an L bracket that I plugged into the bottom tripod mount down there, and then it comes off and over to the side, and I can hold it right here. And I have the light that I'm using right now. It's a CN160. I'll put that over here, then you can put a Rode mic right here, or whatever mic you choose, and it works great. I mean, you kind of feel like a pro walking around with a camera with a light on it and a mic. Haven't really done a lot of testing with the onboard mic. I'm sure it's not very good. The one good thing with this camera is it does go down to 1.8 f-stop aperture, so I mean that's pretty good for cameras nowadays. I mean, the lens, it'd be great if you could interchange. I don't think you can interchange the lenses on this, but obviously you have to spend more money to get a camera where you can interchange the lens, unless you go the DSLR route. But so far I'm really loving this camera. I think it's going to work really well for us to do live streaming. What we're doing with it is we're using CamTwist and a few other programs. I'm not sure on which broadcaster we're going to use, but so far I'm really loving it. But anyway, this is the Canon XA10 professional high definition camcorder, and you're watching Tech Smart Jacks. Please subscribe, appreciate it. Check out our other videos on various things. Some things you might be interested in, some things you might not. Got some cool stuff on there from sound perspective, doing triggering a drum set, different things like that. So check out the channel, subscribe, appreciate it very much.